Is Identity, Part 1, Identity as an Adolescent Issue. It's a pretty obvious statement to say that the way that a person thinks and feels and views themselves changes over time. And we're going to talk about a lot of those changes. But adolescence is a particularly interesting time of when we really reanalyze who we are as a person. In fact, adolescent marks the first substantial reorganization of this idea. It's also a time when a person can actually appreciate the significance of the changes in the way that they view and feel and think about themselves. Identity as an adolescent issue really needs to take into account three aspects. There are changes in a person's biology during adolescence, okay? Puberty is the big one. During puberty, adolescent changes are so dramatic on the outside of their body that it makes sense that they would start questioning what's going on the inside. Cognitive changes influence identity as well. An adolescent starts to allow themselves to imagine their possible self, as well as start to reimagine, I guess, and consider their consequences to all of their actions. So in other words, they really start thinking about their future self, or their future-oriented self, as your author of your textbook calls it. This reminded me a lot of Carl Rogers' real self versus ideal self idea. And if you're familiar with that, maybe that made sense to you as well. And then finally, there's changes that happen in social roles in adolescence that really open the door to a lot of new choices and decisions that could be made that maybe were not even considered previously. Identity development is best understood in a series of interrelated developments instead of one big change. And researchers really take this three approach idea to the study of identity within adolescence. There's the three different approaches of all about how a person's sense of identity particularly changes in adolescence. So the first has to do with changes in self-conceptions. Self-conceptions are these collections of traits and attributes that a person uses to describe themselves, or to characterize themselves, or to put themselves in a certain category. The second approach focuses on changes in self-esteem. Self-esteem is the degree to which a person feels either positively or negatively about themselves. And then the third approach looks at changes in one's sense of identity. And a sense of identity is the extent to which a person feels secure about who they are and who they are going to become. And that's going to conclude this video.